Welcome to New Perspectives on RVN TV. I'm your host, Barry Lefkowitz. You may have noticed that the price of gasoline at the pump just went up in New Jersey by 9.3 cents. A key question here may be, how during these difficult financial times did this happen in New Jersey? And to share his organization's opinion and involvement in actually trying to help educate the governor and the legislature on the impact is a good friend, Sal Risalvato. Sal is the executive director of the New Jersey Gasoline, C-Store, and Automotive Association, a statewide trade organization of 1,000 small businesses. And Sal is going to share with us the implications for all these small businesses. Sal himself has over 40 years of experience in the gasoline retail and auto repair industries. And we were talking before the show, and he actually owned his own gas station for 23 years. Sal has testified before Congress with his expertise, as well as at the state level. And Sal has been a voice since, I think it was 1979, that we talked about, for alternative energy and the importance of alternative energy to remove the dependence that we have on oil. Sal, it's great to have you on the show today. I'm looking forward to our interview. But I guess the first thing that would be helpful is tell us about the New Jersey Gasoline, C-Store, and Automotive Association so our audience understands who you are and why you bring this kind of expertise that we're going to talk about.
Sure. Thanks, Barry, and thank you very much for having me. I'm always happy to give my opinions on things and my views. My organization, New Jersey Gasoline, C-Store, and Automotive Association, was formed 82 years ago as the New Jersey Gasoline Retailer Association. Most folks may remember that the corner gas station used to be traditional gas pumps and auto repair facility. I always tell legislators, and I usually preface any testimony I give in Trenton with the fact that the corner gas station is the quintessential small business of America. And we have represented the gasoline retailers that have now evolved into almost 3 separate businesses: gasoline retail, auto repair, and now many people see convenience stores in our gas stations. So we represent a sector of all 3 of those small businesses.
By the way, just so you know, I worked my way through college working at a gas station near what's now the College of New Jersey. As small businesses, obviously these past 9 months have had an impact on everyone. What has been that impact on your members, given the fact that their convenience stores, the gasoline, and also auto repairs, and I would assume that all 3 elements of a small business has been affected?
Tremendous impact on my members. However, I want to preface my remarks on this with the fact that what they are experiencing is not different than other small businesses.
Right.
However, specifically towards the members that I represent, if people aren't on the roads driving to work every day, they're not using gasoline. Now, one of the things that people don't realize is if you're not using gasoline, it's because your car is sitting in the driveway. You're working from home. If your car is sitting in the driveway, you're not wearing out your tires. You're not adding miles to the engine where you're going to need an oil change. You are not wearing out your brakes or any of those other things that need attention from your local auto technician and repair shop. You're also not stopping at the convenience store when you purchase your gasoline to pick up your morning cup of coffee. So how many people have been having their coffee at home these last 7 or 8 months rather than picking it up at the local convenience store, or picking up a sandwich to bring to work with you for lunch, or your bag of chips, or your bottle of water or soda? So the volume of all of the business we do has been tremendously affected by the coronavirus.
Have you seen where any of your members, because of this tremendous decrease, have been forced to close their business? Has that impact actually hit your association?
I've been informed as recently as last week that I have members that simply cannot sustain keeping the doors open. We had, during the height of the crisis, we had many members that for a number of reasons literally just closed. They have since reopened and they're trying to get back on their feet, but a number had closed for several reasons. One of them was there was no business. The other one was they couldn't get employees. And as you know, New Jersey requires an attendant to fill your car with gasoline and does not permit you to do it yourself. So without employees, we were unable to keep our doors open. And we went through a sustained period of time where employees did not want to come to work. So we had several issues at the same time, but very important was there were no customers. Gasoline volume was down 85%.
85%, did you say?
We had repair shops that literally had 2 mechanics standing in the service bays and no cars to service. So we went through a very difficult time, and yes, many members have notified me that they closed their doors.
Before we get into about the increase in the tax and everything, has the state, because I know that there were a whole series of programs through the state EDA and so forth that were purported to help small businesses, was the state stepping up to help you?
There were a number of programs, some through the federal government, some through the state program. We encouraged our members to participate in all of the programs that they were qualified to participate in. And we actually conducted webinars and information type dissemination and held the hands of many of our members to apply for these programs, and many of them did. And it is why they are, those that did remain in business were able to do so and employ people while they remained in business.
That is actually, that's good news. As you know, and I know that you have been an ardent spokesman in regards to this, we just had a second, within the last couple of years, major increase on the gas tax in New Jersey. This one was 9.3, and the previous one I think was 20-something cents per gallon.
1990.
1990. What has been the effect? Well, first of all, maybe it would be helpful to help the audience understand what is the purpose of these tax increases that the legislature has implemented with the governor.
The recent tax increases began in 2016.
Right.
When the legislature passed and the governor signed legislation that was an 8-year piece of legislation that required the Transportation Trust Fund to take in annually from the gas tax revenues $2 billion. And if in fact any fiscal year fell short of the $2 billion, then the following year the gas tax would be increased enough based on the gasoline volume that was being sold in the state to make up that shortfall. And it also said that should the revenues be above that $2 billion, then the gas tax would be reduced. However, all across the country, gasoline volume has been declining for a number of years. That's why the federal government is contemplating gas tax increases, because the revenues there are down from the gas tax. All states' revenues have been down because volume has been down, so they weren't collecting the kinds of revenues that they anticipated or needed. New Jersey passed this bill in 2016, and the effect of that was to make New Jersey uncompetitive with its neighboring states. We had enjoyed a competitive advantage for 30 years, mostly over New York, because while other states were raising their gas tax, New Jersey borrowed the money to pay for roads and bridges. It put us into a serious financial hole that required a 23-cent increase in 2016, 4 cents later, 4 cents 2 years later, and now in 2020, the determination was made that in order to make up the shortfall, mostly because of the COVID-19 crisis that took cars off of the roads, we just saw an increase on October 1st of 9.3 cents to make up that revenue shortfall.
All right, we have to do that thing which is known as a commercial break. And please stay with us, because Sal is going to give you a further explanation of how New Jersey versus Delaware, New York, Pennsylvania in terms of gas prices. And also, New Jersey is the only state in the country that still does not provide for self-service. And I know that Sal has some very strong opinions about it and will help educate us on that. So stick with us, we'll be right back.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed within their lifetime. RVN TV is asking for your support for breast cancer survivors and those currently battling the disease. You can do this by wearing pink ribbons or clothing throughout the month of October. Early detection and treatment is crucial, and we at RVN TV encourage all women to consider undergoing breast clinical exams and mammograms. The fight against breast cancer needs your support. The 2020 election is right around the corner. RVN TV encourages you to register and vote. To get information about how to register and the different methods to vote this election season, visit vote.gov. Every vote counts, so don't delay.
Welcome back to New Perspectives on RVN TV. I'm your host, Barry Lefkowitz. We're having a very animated conversation with my good friend Sal